let's first take care of the table for correlations. One thing that I normally do is to merge information from the descriptives table and then the Pearson correlation table. And I can't necessarily sort of adjust this table because if you take a look at the borders of this table system, it's a bit complex. So there is sort of a different row for the asterisk. And if I, let's say for example, make some adjustments here, mahirap siyang i-adjust is what I'm trying to say. So what I normally do is I just create a different table. So I need how many columns? 1, 2, 3 for the mean and standard deviation because I'm going to insert it in one of the columns. 4, 5, 6. We don't need this. So I need about 6 columns. And rows, how many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably 5. Yeah. So I'm gonna create a 6 by 5 table. And then I'm just gonna migrate stuff from these tables to here. So I'm gonna label this as M for mean, SD, 1, 2, 3. So it's a useless column, so might as well remove that. And then our variables are academic dishonesty, attitude, subjective norms, perceived behavioral control. Now, given that we only have a few variables, I think it wouldn't hurt if I sort of spell out all of these variables. This is sort of a case-to-case basis. Sometimes you have a lot of variables that you need to abbreviate and just create a legend below the table. But given that we only have 4 variables, maybe I can, or maybe we can spell them out. Academic dishonesty. All right. So we have mean, SD. Okay, so I'll just adjust this a bit. So if it's not necessary to really occupy the entire width of the paper, then don't. So let's just copy these values. So the mean for attitude is right here. The standard deviation goes here. What is this one? Subjective norms. Okay, transfer here. All right, so we have already simplified our descriptives by reporting mean and SD. Now, when you're preparing a table, one thing that is important is to make sure that your decimal places are aligned. So I could simply sort of make this centered, but the problem sometimes is, let's say for example, instead of 16, this is just 6. If I centered all of the values, then my decimal places are no longer aligned. It's okay, because all of our values are, double digits, double digits, double digits. Ito naman pare-parehong single digit right before the decimal places. So centering it would still ensure that the decimal places are aligned. But if not, let's say for example, this one, so I wouldn't leave it like this. I would, using the space bar, adjust it a bit so that the decimal place or the decimal point is still aligned with the others. Okay? But we don't have that problem now. So centering it is fine. And then mean and standard deviations are notations, so make sure that they are italicized. Now let us migrate the correlation coefficients. So for attitude and academic dishonesty, okay, so I'll just migrate this here. Migrate it here. And then I can just add however many asterisks are necessary. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Of course, if there are only 2 asterisks, then just put 2 asterisks. If there's only 1, then just put 1 asterisk. For correlation coefficients, the output normally has a 0. What is the range of correlation coefficients? The range of correlation coefficient is from +1 to -1. it is impossible to have a correlation coefficient like 1.345. It's impossible to have that. So if the values that you are talking about only ranges from +1 to -1, make sure that you remove the lead zero. So what are these values normally? Correlation coefficients, any standardized value, like for example, standardized regression coefficients. Let's say, for example, instead of 16.107, the output is 0.107. Tatanggalin mo ba yung zero? No. It is possible for this particular value to exceed 1. Okay, so if that is the case, then you leave your lead zero there. Okay, but it's not zero. In our output, it's 16. So you might be wondering, why is it that sometimes the value has a lead zero like so, and sometimes there is no lead zero? So that is a distinction. We put a lead zero if the value is less than 1, but that particular value can possibly exceed 1, and we remove the lead zero for values that does not exceed the value of 1. Okay, so I hope that that is clear. Okay, so by this we can still sort of adjust this to make it more tight. And then if I center this, let's try centering it. I'm not sure if it looks good. Personally, I want these labels to be more aligned with the numerical values. So I wouldn't center this. I would just adjust this using the space bar, like so. I think that's enough. Like so and like so. Okay. And then what about these cells that are supposedly 1.00, right? Because it is the correlation of academic dishonesty with itself. So that should be 1. So in cases like this, we can just put something like that. So make sure that it is still aligned with the other values. Okay. And then let's make this an open table. So open table meaning to say we only have horizontal lines for the header and then for the end of the table. And there you have it. You have a clean table for your correlation matrix, which essentially is a merging of your two tables. So see how much cleaner that looks like. And then for the p-values, I can just copy this and put this below as a guide to those who are reading. And then how do we label this table? If this is table 1, I'm going to say table 1. And then double space the title of the table. So let's say, for example, the title of the table is zero order correlations among the variables. And then now here's the catch. The title of the table, it should be italicized. The table number, table 1, is not. Likewise, there's no such thing as table 1.1, table 1.2, table 1.3. No such thing. So it's just table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so forth and so on. Okay? So we now have a clean APA formatted table. And then maybe I can still adjust this a bit. All right, looks good. There's the problem. The problem is that it's not font size 12. It's font size 11. Font size 10. There you go. Font size 12. Another thing that bothers me with JASP is that it makes your table heading, your table title, and the labels for, or the, what do you call that, the column headings bold. Those shouldn't be in boldface. They should be in a regular font. Double check everything. So make sure that it's font size 12. If this were to be a bigger table, we can reduce the font size. Font size 10, 9. Anyway, so we can now remove these tables. And we have now our elegant looking table 1.